In this video, we are going to discuss 50 technical interview questions which are generally asked in the interview of design engineering. So the very first question, what do you understand by engineering drawing? So here you can see a sample of engineering drawing, and the question is, what do you understand by engineering drawing? So the answer is, an engineering drawing is a type of technical drawing used to define the requirement for engineering products or the components. The purpose of an engineering drawing is to clearly and accurately capture all geometric features of a product or a component so that a manufacturer or the engineer can produce the required item. So the engineering drawing is produced by the design department and it is then handed over to the manufacturing department to manufacture a product. Next question. What is section, projection, isometric and detail view? So first we will discuss the section view. So here you can see an example of section view. So it is basically used to check the hidden part of any object, right? So a section view is a view used on a drawing to show an area or hidden part of an object by cutting away or removing some of that object. Okay, so here we have taken a section AA to check the hidden details of the part. The next question, what is projection? The answer is a 3D projection or the graphical projection is a design technique used to display a three-dimensional object on a two-dimensional surface. So here you can see the projection of three-dimensional object. Okay, so here we have one block and you can see the different views like the front view, top view and side view. These are nothing but the projection of this object. Next question, what is isometric projection? So here you can see the orthographic and the isometric projection. Okay, so the isometric projection is a method for visually representing three-dimensional objects in a two-dimensional in technical or engineering drawing. Okay, so here you can see the orthographic projection and the isometric projection for the object. Next question, what is a detail view? So with this diagram you can understand the detail view. Now again if we see the details of B, in that case we can produce its detail view. So a detail view is a small portion of a model shown enlarged in another view. A reference note and border are included in the parent view as a part of detail view setup. Okay, so the first diagram is nothing but the parent view and the second diagram is a detail view and the reference note is placed. Here you can see the reference note, that is circled area labeled in a parent view, and the reference note is denoted by B, and that detail B is shown in enlarged view, and that enlarged view is known as detail view. Next question, what is engineering tolerance? Okay, so the tolerance is nothing but the difference between the lower and upper limit of the dimension, that is known as tolerance, and that can be understood with the help of this diagram. So here the tolerance is shown with the help of red circle. So if you can see the dimension, that is 10 plus minus 0.5. So 0.5 is nothing but the tolerance. That means this dimension can vary in between 9.5 to 10.5. Okay, so the tolerance is the allowable variations for a given size in order to achieve a proper function. Tolerance equals the difference between the lower and upper limit dimension. So for 0.500 to 0.506 inch, the tolerance would be 0.006 inch. Next question, why tolerance are provided? The next question is why tolerances are provided, and the answer is it is very difficult to manufacture a product with exact dimension and hence the tolerance are provided. So here in this diagram you can see the tolerance. So every component will have its upper limit, lower limit, and again you can see the tolerance. So the tolerance are provided sorry, the tolerances are provided to the part because variations in the material property introduce errors and production machine themselves have inherent accuracies. Okay, so whenever you are carrying out the machining activities, so your machine tool may have certain flaws, and because of that you cannot produce a component with exact dimension. And again, whatever material you are processing, that material that material may have certain defects, okay, and due to which the tolerances are provided. Another reason to introduce the tolerance is that it is not possible to make a perfect setting by operator, so some tolerances are provided. Okay, so it is not possible for the operator to provide exact setting on the machine so as to provide the exact component, and hence the tolerance is provided. Next question, what are the types of tolerances? The answer is there are two types of tolerances, unilateral tolerance and the bilateral tolerance. So here you can see in the diagram, the first diagram is for unilateral tolerance and the second diagram is for bilateral tolerance. Now we will discuss unilateral tolerance. So a unilateral tolerance exists when a target dimension is given along with a tolerance that allows variations to occur only in one direction. So in first diagram you can see the basic dimension is 20 and the upper tolerance is 0.000 mm, whereas the lower tolerance is 0.004 mm. Right? So here the tolerance is provided on the lower side only, and this is an example of unilateral tolerance because we have provided the tolerance only at one side, either lower or the upper, and here the tolerance is provided on the lower side, so this is known as unilateral tolerance. Now the second type, that is bilateral tolerance. A bilateral tolerance exists if the variations from a target dimension is shown occurring in both the positive and negative direction. So you can see in the second diagram the basic dimension is 20, the upper tolerance, that is 0.002, and the lower tolerance is minus 0.002. So this is an example of bilateral tolerance because we have provided the tolerance over the upper side and the lower side. Next question, draw the symbol of first and third angle projection. So here you can see, here you can see the symbols for first angle and third angle projection. So in first angle method, there will be an observer, then object and the plane. Whereas in third angle method, there will be an observer, plane and the object. Next question, which projections are preferred for engineering drawing? The answer is first angle projection and third angle projection. Next question, what is the difference between first and third angle projection? And the answer is, in first angle projection, the object is placed in first quadrant, whereas in third angle projection, the object is placed in third quadrant. So this can be understood with the help of this diagram. You can see the object is placed in the first quadrant, and the first angle system is followed by European country, and again it is followed by ISO standard. Whereas in third angle projection system, the object is placed in a third quadrant. It is followed by Canada, USA, Japan and Thailand. Next question, why second and fourth angle projection systems are not used? This is very important question. Okay, why second and fourth angle projection systems are not used? So we can understand this with the help of this diagram. Now in second angle projection system, you have to place the object in this quadrant, which is a second quadrant. Whereas in fourth angle projection, you have to place your component in this quadrant, which is your fourth quadrant. And now the question is why this second and fourth angle projection system is not used, right? And the answer is, as per the rule of projection, when horizontal plane is rotated 90 degree in clockwise direction, top and front view will overlap. Therefore, second angle projection system is not used. Okay, so if you place your component over here, you will get front view from here and top view over this plane. And as per the rule, you have to rotate this plane in clockwise direction, and in that case these two planes will get overlap, and hence second angle projection is not used. Right, and same case is for the fourth angle projection. When you place the component over here, and after that you have to rotate this plane through 90 degree in clockwise direction, and that time again these two plane will get overlap, and hence fourth angle projection system is not also used. Okay, so again I will repeat the answer. As per the rule of projection, when horizontal plane is rotated 90 degree in clockwise direction, top and front view will overlap. Therefore, second angle projection is not used. Similarly, when the object is placed in the fourth quadrant, both top and front view will overlap. Therefore, fourth angle projection is also not used. Next question, what is the least count and how it is calculated? So this question is related with the measuring instrument, and design engineers should have a knowledge of measuring instrument also. So mathematically, a measuring instrument least count is calculated by dividing main scale reading with a total number of divisions on a main scale. For example, measurement scale least count is 1 mm. Okay, so the scale which we use in our daily life, that scale has a least count of 1 mm. Why 1 mm? Because in 1 centimeter there are 10 digits. Okay, so 10 divided by 1 divided by 10, that is you will get 1 mm. That means up to 1 mm dimension we can measure with the help of scale. Less than 1 mm we cannot efficiently measure with the help of your scale. That is why least count of your scale is 1 mm. It is calculated by dividing the main scale reading, that is 1 centimeter, with number of divisions of a main scale. Okay, so 1 centimeter divided by 10, so 10 mm divided by 10 division, you will get 1. So the least count of a scale is 1 mm. Next question, what is the least count for vernier scale? So here in this diagram you can see the vernier caliper. There are different parts of vernier caliper, like external jaw, internal jaw, then locking screw is there. So after while carrying out the inspection, you have to fix the vernier caliper with the help of locking screw. Then there is a imperial scale, metric scale, and the depth measuring blade. So with the help of this vernier caliper, you can measure the length, you can measure the external diameter with the help of external jaw, then you can measure the internal diameter with the help of internal jaw, and again you can measure the depth with the help of depth measuring blade. Okay, and now the question is, what is the least count for vernier caliper? So there is a formula for calculating the least count of a vernier caliper, and it is equal to smallest reading on a main scale divided by number of divisions on a vernier scale. And the smallest reading on a main scale, that is 1 mm, and number of divisions on a vernier scale, that is 10 division. So 1 divided by 10 will give you 0.1 mm. Next question, what is the least count for a micrometer? So here you can see the micrometer screw gauge. It has an anvil and spindle, okay, for measuring the external diameter. So with the help of micrometer, you can only measure the external diameter, you cannot measure internal diameter. Then it has a frame and locking mechanism and the racket screw for clamping the micrometer screw gauge. The question is, what is the least count for micrometer? So again we have a formula for calculating the least count of a micrometer, and that is equal to pitch of screw gauge divided by total number of divisions of a circular scale. So 1 mm divided by 100. So the least count of a micrometer is 0.01 mm. So the least count for the vernier caliper is 0.1 mm, whereas the least count for the micrometer is 0.01 mm. Next question, what is factor of safety? The answer is the ratio of ultimate strength of a member to the actual working stress or the maximum permissible stress when used. That is known as factor of safety. and it is different for different material. Okay, so for brittle material, the factor of safety is equal to ultimate strength divided by working strength, whereas for ductile material, the factor of safety is equal to yield strength divided by working strength. Next question, what is stress strain curve? Okay, so the stress strain curve will give you the behavior of a material. Okay, so the answer is, in engineering and material science, a stress strain curve for a material gives the relationship between stress and strain. So this diagram will provide you the relationship between stress and strain. This curve reveals many properties of the material such as Young's modulus, the yield strength, and the ultimate tensile strength. Okay, so with this curve, you will come to know the Young's modulus of the material. So up to the elastic limit, the stress is directly proportional to the stress, and this will give you Young's modulus. Then it will give you the yield strength of a material and the ultimate tensile strength. And here you can see the example of stress strain curve for a ductile material. So OA, that is nothing but the proportional limit, where stress is directly proportional to the strain. Then the B point, that is known as upper yield point, and C point is lower yield point. Then D is nothing but the ultimate stress point, and point E is denotes the fracture. Next question, draw stress strain curve for a ductile and brittle material. So here I have drawn the curve for a ductile material and brittle material. So for a ductile material, you can observe the upper yield point and the lower yield point over here. This is nothing but the ultimate stress, and this point denotes the fracture. So this curve is for a ductile material, whereas for brittle material you will not observe the yield phenomena. The material will get directly fracture. So that is the difference in between ductile material and the brittle material. Next question, what do you understand by CAD system? So the CAD system, CAD is nothing but computer aided design. So the CAD system have two basic component. Those component is computer hardware and computer software. So computer hardware consists of a graphic workstation. Sorry. That means you will have a monitor, then graphic input devices like keyboard and mouse, because you have to provide the input while modeling the component. So the input devices like keyboard and mouse is there, and the graphic output devices like printer and plotters. So in earlier days plotters are used, nowadays printers are used. So after designing the component, you have to take a printout of it, and that can be done with the help of a printer. So these are nothing but the hardware component. Then the computer software consists of a operating system for basic operation. So your system will have operating system like DOS, Windows. Nowadays Windows is used. Then software packages used for geometric modeling, and the software applications for design, analysis, and synthesis. And then you will have various design softwares like CATIA, Pro-E, AutoCAD, ANSYS. Next question, what are the editing commands in a CAD? The answer is, since it is necessary to make the corrections and alteration to the entities of a drawing, there are various commands. The commands are erase, move, array, fillet, chamfer, mirror, rotate, trim, copy, scale. Okay, so while modeling the component, you have to edit it, and for editing there are various commands like erase. So with erase command, you can erase the drawing, or you can erase a particular line or circle. Then move, so you can move the entity from one place to another. Then array means suppose there is a series of hole over the component, so that can be done with the help of array command. Then fillet, so suppose you want to provide a radius over the edge, so that can be done with the help of fillet. Then chamfer, so if there is a chamfer, that can be done with the help of chamfer command. Then mirror, so exact same feature is there, so that can be replicated with the help of mirror command. After that, rotate, suppose you want to rotate a line, so that can be done with the help of rotate command. Then trim, so extra portion can be erased with the help of trim command. Copy, so you can copy the entity with the help of copy command. And scale, so you can enlarge or you can reduce the size of a component with the help of scale command. So these are nothing but various editing commands in a CAD software. Next question. What are the geometric modeling techniques used? The answer is primarily these are the types of geometric model used in a CAD. Some of the mostly common use is based on the dimensioning, two-dimensional modeling and three-dimensional modeling, and based on the modeling, that is wireframe modeling, surface modeling and the solid modeling. So these are nothing but different geometric modeling techniques. So either you can represent the component with the help of 2D projection or the 3D projection, or you can represent the same component with the help of wireframe modeling, surface modeling or the solid modeling. It depends on the application. Suppose you are designing a bottle. In that case, you can represent that bottle with the help of surface. Suppose you are modeling a stool or the chair. That time you can represent that object with the help of solid modeling. Okay, and suppose you want to study its interior detail. So that time you can use wireframe modeling. Next question. What is the difference between 2D and 3D, two-dimensional and three-dimension? The answer is 2D model are best used for the design problems like flat object and the layout of a building. Okay, so suppose you are designing a building. In that case, you are going to use 2D models only. When on the other hand, 3D models are capable of modeling an object in three-dimensional according to the user instruction. 3D models are helpful in conceptualizing the object, since in true 3D model can be displayed in various views and form of different angles. Okay, so this is the difference in between 2D and 3D. So for modeling a mechanical component, generally 3D system is used. Next question. What are the advantages of wireframe modeling? The answer is it is simple to construct. Then designer needs only little training. It needs very little memory space. Then it takes less manipulation time. And then it is best suitable for manipulation as orthographic, isometric and perspective views. Next question. What is CAD software packages, or which are the various CAD software packages? The answer is AutoCAD, CATIA, IronCAD, ProE, TurboCAD, Solid Edge, SolidWorks. These are nothing but different CAD software packages. Next question. Define CAD or computer aided design. The answer is computer aided design is a use of computers to aid in creation, modification, analysis or optimization of a design. So with the help of CAD software packages, you can create the design, you can modify the existing design, you can carry out the analysis. That means whether that component is able to sustain that much load or not, that you can check, and that is known as analysis, or you can optimize the design. So this is nothing but computer aided design. Then CAD software is used to increase the productivity of a designer. So it is nothing but a tool, and with this tool you can increase the productivity of a designer, then improve the quality of a design, improve the communication through documentation, and to create a database for manufacturing. So with the help of CAD software, you can create a database and which can be used for the manufacturing purpose. Next question. What is geometric modeling? The answer is geometric modeling involves the use of a CAD system to develop a mathematical description of a geometry of an object. Okay, so in geometrical modeling, that CAD system will have a database, and that database will have a data related to the geometry of that component, like its dimension, its length, breadth, height, diameter. Then the mathematical description called as geometrical model is contained in a computer memory. These operations include creating new geometric model from a basic building block available in the system. Next question. What are the advantages of CAD? The answer is high productivity and reduced lead time. So as it is a tool, so it will improve the productivity of a designer, and it reduces the lead times. So with very less time you can design a component. Accuracy in design, better central over a complete project process. Modification in design, relatively easy. So as it is a software, you can modify the design. Then modification in design is easy. Simulation of the computer generated model can be reduced or eliminate prototype testing. So one of the facility that is simulation that we can perform in a design software, and it will reduce or eliminate the prototype testing. Okay, so after designing a component, you have to manufacture it and then you have to test it. So the first manufactured component, that will be your prototype. You will test that prototype. But with the help of CAD software, you can reduce or eliminate this activity. Then effective creation of manufacturing documentation and optimized solution can be received. These are certain advantages of CAD. Next question, what is the application of CAD software packages? The application are, the CAD system is applied whenever we need to draw, design and any facilities related to that. The applications are automated industries, manufacturing companies, aerospace design, civil engineering plan, electrical circuits. These are nothing but the applications of CAD software packages. Next question, what is boundary representation? So here in this diagram, you can see the boundary representation. So in that case, you can see the edges of the component. Again, you can represent the component with the help of surfaces also. Okay, so the boundary representation construction consists of entering all the boundary edges for all surfaces. This is similar or copying an engineering drawing into the computer line by line, surface by surface, with one important qualification. The line must be entered and surface oriented in such a way that they create valid volumes. Next question, what is constructive solid geometry? That is CSG. The answer is CSG technique use Boolean combination or primitive solids to build a part. The Boolean operations are addition, subtraction. So here you can see an example of CSG. So now we have one block and a cylinder, and if we subtract a cylinder from a block, we can get a component like this. We can get a component like this, and this is an example of constructive solid geometry. Next question, what is file format used in a design? The answer is, in AutoCAD, .dwg file format is used for a design. It can be an interchangeable format. The file format which is interchangeable has an extension as DXF and operates data operability. It provides different languages which can be used as per the requirement. Next question, what is GD&T? The answer is, GD&T is nothing but geometric dimensioning and tolerancing. It is a system for defining and communicating engineering tolerances. Okay, so here you can see the different types of tolerances which are provided over the component. The tolerances are like form, profile, orientation, location, runout, and the various symbols are used for those tolerances. Next question, distinguish between creep and fatigue. The answer is, creep is a low and progressive deformation of a material with time under a constant stress at high temperature application. So under creep, the material is subjected to the progressive deformation at a constant stress at high temperature. Whereas fatigue is the reduced tendency of a material to offer resistance to the applied stress under repetitive or fluctuating loading condition. So this is a difference in between creep and fatigue. Next question, which theories of failure are used for ductile material and brittle material? So there are different theories of failure and they are applicable to different material. So for ductile material, theory of failure use are maximum shear stress theory and maximum energy of distortion theory. Whereas for brittle material, the theory of maximum principal stress and maximum strain are used. Next question, define the term allowance in the limit and fit. So here you can see the allowance, and allowance is the minimum clearance between the shaft and hole. Next question, what are the classification of tools? The answer is the tool can be a press tool, it can be a mold, it can be a jigs and fixture, it can be a cutting tool or the assembly tool, it can be a gauge for the inspection purpose, and it can be a measuring instrument for the measurement purpose. Next question. Surface roughness on a drawing is represented by which symbol? The answer is triangles. So with the help of triangle you can represent a surface roughness over the drawing. Next question. Which instrument is used to check the diameter of the finished turn shaft? The answer is micrometer screw gauge. So here the shaft is represented by the red circle and you can measure its external diameter with the help of micrometer screw gauge. Next question. Define the following metal properties, that is machinability and malleability. So machinability is the property of a metal due to which a metal can easily be cut by cutting tools to obtain good surface finish. Example is brass and mild steel. Malleability is the property of a metal on account of which it can be extended in all directions by hammering or rolling. Example is tin and lead. Next question. Define hardness of a metal. So the answer is, it is a property of a metal which makes a metal capable to resist surface penetration by other metal. Hard metal are high carbon steel and high speed steel. Next question. What is toughness of a metal? The answer is, toughness is the property of a metal due to which without fracture a metal is able to withstand bending or torsion. Example is mild steel and wrought iron. Next question. How steel is classified? So we can classify the steel on the basis of two criteria. The first one is carbon percentage and second one is percentage of alloying element. So based on the carbon percentage, again we can classify it in three categories. Low carbon steel, which will have less than 0.25% carbon. Medium carbon steel will have 0.25 to 0.7% carbon, whereas high carbon steel have 0.7 to 1.5% carbon. Then based on the percentage of alloying element, low alloy steel will have less than 8% alloying element and high alloy steel will have more than 8% alloying element. Next question. What is the different alloying element and their effect on the properties of steel? So the different alloying element is cobalt, chromium, molybdenum, nickel, tungsten and vanadium. Cobalt will give excellent magnetic property and improve the cutting quality of the steel. Chromium will give greater hardness and resist corrosion and forging. Molybdenum will provide hardness and resistance to the drawing and forging. Nickel will lift the tensile strength and improve the wearing properties. Tungsten gives the fine grain structure, greater hardness and cutting toughness. Vanadium gives the cutting toughness to the wear and tear. Next question. What is the material of gear? The material of the gear should be selected according to the capacity and nature of the work. Gear are generally made up of cast iron, bronze, tool steel, chromium steel, alloy steel. Next question. Define the following properties: fusibility, stiffness and ductility. Fusibility. It is the property of a metal due to which a metal becomes fluid when it is heated. That is known as fusibility. Stiffness. It is a property of a metal due to which a metal is capable of resisting deflection due to an externally applied load. Ductility. It is a property of a metal due to which a metal can be drawn in form of wires without rupture. Next question. Why are the machine made up of cast iron? So here you can see a bed of lathe machine and it is generally made up of a cast iron. And the reason is because it has more compressive strength and negligible shrinkage. It can be easily cast into an integral shape, wear resisting and can absorb the vibration. Next question. What do you mean by stainless steel? Answer is, it is an alloy of steel which contains mainly 8% nickel and 18% chromium. Stainless steel main application in measuring and surgical instrument. Next question, what are the various phases of a design process? The phases are recognition of need. So first of all, you have to identify the need. Then definition of a problem. Based on the need, you have to define the problem. Synthesis. Then synthesis means modeling the need or the conceptual design. Then analysis and optimization. So after designing the component or after modeling the component, you have to analyze it with the help of different boundary condition. Evaluation, that means it's testing. So after modeling the component, you have to simulate it. And then presentation, that is design and drafting. Next question, differentiate between repeated stress and reverse stress. So the first diagram represents the repeated stress, whereas the second diagram represents the reverse stress. So repeated stress refers to a stress varying from 0 to a maximum value of same nature. Reverse stress of a cyclic stress varies from one value of a tension to the same value of compression. The last question, what is principal stress and principal plane? The answer is, a plane which has no shear stress is called as principal plane, and the corresponding stress is called as principal stress. So thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you.